Yes, sir.
I hope you guys are good. If you're not good, don't worry, you'll be fine, you know? So, the first question of the day, what month are we in?
August.
August, yeah?
Yes.
And what is happening in August? It's Women's Month, you know? And then the month after August, it's September, right?
Yes, sir.
And then what is happening in September?
Heritage Day.
It's Heritage Day, yeah?
Yes, sir.
And then what do we do in Heritage Day? We celebrate our
heritage.
our traditions, right?
Yes.
Different cultures, yeah?
Yes.
So the lesson for today is about culture and heritage.
Yes, sir.
Culture and heritage. If I may ask, when you hear the word culture, what comes to your mind?
Zoom.
What comes to your mind when you hear the word culture? What is culture? People's tradition. Remember, in tourism, we don't have a wrong answer. You just speak your mind. Every answer is correct. What is culture?
Heritage.
Yes, sir. It's different beliefs of different people.
Yes.
Culture refers to the value, attitude, beliefs, and practice of a particular group of people. So in South Africa, how many official languages do we have?
9.
We have 11 official languages in the country, right? So it means that we have 11 different cultures. Yeah? And culture, it includes living culture and non-living culture. I see you're confused. There's living culture and non-living culture. And then what is a living culture?
People.
People are
People perform their culture, like traditional dancing and all those other things.
so a living culture, then, living culture, it is passed through individual families, community, and society. So living culture is what we speak, the languages, the traditions. It's living culture and it's also intangible. So if you don't want to say a living culture, you can say intangible culture. Because you cannot touch your language and you cannot touch your traditions. You practice them, and we say they are living. And you also have what we call non-living culture. When we speak about non-living culture, we speak of things that we inherit or we inherited from the past generations. For example, we speak about, remember I said they are tangible. Non-living, they are tangible things. For example, we speak about the historical buildings and the landmarks. So anything that is tangible, you can touch and feel. So that is non-living culture. Anything that we have inherited from the past generations, it is regarded as tangible culture or non-living culture. Yes.
So there is Robin Island and non-living culture.
Come again?
It's Robin Island and non-living culture.
Robben Island, yes. Because it's historical, right?
Yes.
It's a historical building. So it's a non-living culture. And then we also have common beliefs common beliefs about cultures. As much as we have 11 different cultures in the country, there's common beliefs that we share as the people in the country. The first one, culture is based on symbols. Each and every culture, it has symbols. So that is one of the common thing about the cultures that we have. Each and every culture, it has symbols. And these symbols, they can either be verbal or non-verbal. For example, when we speak about the non-verbal symbols, we speak about the wedding ring, a ring. Each and every culture, it has a ring, a wedding ring. So that symbolizes that this person is married. It's a non-verbal symbol. Ne? It's a symbol. Remember, culture is based on symbols. They either be verbal or non-verbal. Non-verbal symbols is a ring, for example. And then verbal, it's our language. The language that you speak at home is what is verbal. And then non-verbal, like I said, the wedding ring. It symbolizes that this person is what? Is married. And then the second common belief about culture is learned. Culture is passed from one generation to another generation through language and understanding. For example, Lobol. The culture, we learn. Each and every household, it has a way of doing things. When you're still young, growing up, things that you are taught at home is the culture that you live. So we learn. For example, in Lobol, each and every culture, we know that we are bound to pay Lobol. You don't just wake up and take your wife. You know, it's a process. It's a process. So culture is learned. And then the third one, we have culture is shared. Culture is shared. Cultural practices are shared by a group of people or a community. Some cultural practices, such as holding a bridal shower, are shared by many different cultures in our nations. So culture is also shared. For example, the bridal showers. There's any culture that doesn't practice a bridal shower? Do you know a bridal shower? Yes. Okay, the ladies, they do know. Help us. What is it? Before a wedding, friends, they organize something for a bride. And that is called a bridal shower. And for example, another one, there's a baby shower. You know a baby shower? So each and every culture, they practice that before the child is born, right? It's baby shower. So that is called culture is shared. We share that as the people, that's different cultures. Yes.
Can you also put like the bachelor parties before wedding?
Bachelor's party before wedding, yes, it's a shared culture, right? Because all the different cultures, they practice that.
So, it's after tears also.
But this is what is happening. This is what is happening. So obviously, after funeral, what we do? We go to after tears. After party. Even after parties, right? So that's what we do. So it's also regarded as culture is shared. And then we also have culture is dynamic. What do you understand by that? Dynamic, the word dynamic.
It changes all the time.
It changes all the time. So culture changes all the time. Remember that now we live in the 21st century. So we no longer live in the ancient days. So we cannot continue doing the ancient things. Same applies to culture, it changes. Money also changes, right? So culture is like that. So in the olden days, they used to, when they go to pay lobol, they used to take kettles, literal kettles, and take them to the wife's family, the in-laws. So, but then nowadays, things have changed. When we speak about cows, we speak about money. For instance, what they do, they say one cow, it costs 10,000 rand. And in the house, we want 5 cows.
50K.
Then 50K. So if I may ask, is change good or not?
It's good in some situations.
It's good in some situations. Because you must remember that since now we live in the 21st century, we're no longer interested in farming, and we live in suburban areas, urban areas. And you know that in most of suburban areas, cows, they cannot live there, they cannot survive. So they need to be in rural areas. So maybe people from rural areas, they are still practicing that. But then us who stay in the suburban areas, we need to pop out some money to pay the war. So change is good. And then we also have the elements of culture. The first one, architecture and interior. So when we speak about architecture and interior, we speak about the old buildings. The old buildings that has historical significance in our culture. Like you said, for example, Robben Island. It also has a significant historical significance in the country. And then we also have arts and craft. Arts and craft. So it was used by the San people, the Khoisan people. So they used to communicate by art and craft. So it also plays a huge role in the South African history, as well as it's the culture that represents spirit. So the Khoisan people used to communicate by their drawings.
Yes, sir.
And then we also have cuisine, the South African cuisine. So the South African cuisine is influenced by the indigenous African culture as well as European and Asian cultures. So what is the South African cuisine that is mostly famous? Do you know? Remember, each and every culture, it has its own cuisine.
It's pap.
It's pap. Okay? Do you have Zulus here? Do you have Zulus? And then what is the cuisine for Zulus?
Inside meat.
Inside meat. And food, you know? Food for everyone. And then the pennies, they eat Mopani worms. So that is the South African cuisine. The Mopani worms. Yeah? And then we also have the Xhosas. They eat umnyumushu, which is some salmon and beans. You know? And then we also have, okay, this one, it's for everyone. Right? Yeah. So South Africa is also famous for eating Turavos, you know?
Yes, sir.
And then we also have music and dance.
Yes, sir.
So most tourists, when they come to South Africa, they also want to experience the music and dance that we have. For example, when you go to Soweto, we have Kamput stands there. Tourists, they come and want to see people doing the Kamput stands. And then the Kamput stands is originated from the mine workers.
Yes.
So they used to do Kamput stands, you know. So that's what most people, tourists, when they come to South Africa, they also want to experience the dance and the music, the experience of South Africa. So Kamput stands, it's also number one. And then we also have this Zulu traditional dance. And then we also have Abukwela Kwela. And then when it comes to music, Kwaito. Kwaito with Pantula. You see? So the day you guys decide to go to Soweto, you'll experience all that I'm talking about.
Yes.
Have you guys been to Soweto before?
Yes.
Huh? Have you been to Soweto? Do you guys know Mandela House?
Yes, sir.
Have you been there?
No.
Yes.
So by outside Mandela House, there are people who are dancing there. No? Who are doing the Kamput stands. And as well, Mandela House, it's also a historical building. It falls under tangible culture.
Non-living.
It's a it's a non-living culture. The Mandela House. And it is very important that you know this, no?
Yes, sir.
And then what is heritage? Heritage also has to do with all the things that we have inherited from the past generations. The language that we speak, we have inherited it. Our traditions, the food we eat. So everything that we have inherited, it is regarded as a heritage. And then why do we think it is very important to preserve or to conserve our heritage? Yes.
It's been passed down to your ancestors. To your yes. I'm saying it's important because you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So our ancestors has passed it to us.
Yes.
And even us, we need to preserve and conserve it for the future generation. So that's why it is very important. And they also play an important role For example, the reason that we should also preserve is that we have social value. They have a social value. So people can visit heritage sites for educational purposes, entertainment, or simply to appreciate its beauty. And then the second one, the economic value. Heritage sites provide employment for the local community and generate an income which may be used to improve the lives of the people in the area. And then the last one, we have environmental value. Heritage sites are seen as special places, and there are laws that have been placed to protect the environment for these sites. This helps to safeguard the environment of the heritage. So now we know why it is important to preserve the heritage site for social value, economic value, as well as the environment value. So all these heritage sites that we have in South Africa, they are protected by the law. They do not belong to certain individuals. They belong to the South Africa. There's a law that protects them. Do you guys know the law that protects our heritage?
No.
So the law that protects our heritage site, it's called National Heritage Resource Act. National Heritage Resource Act. So this act is the one that is responsible for all the heritage sites in South Africa. And we also have what we call the World Heritage Sites. They are also protected by the law, meaning that the World Heritage Sites, they don't belong to a specific country. They just belong to the world. For example, if you have World Heritage Sites in South Africa, they do not belong to South Africa, but they belong to the world, because they are World Heritage Sites. So then Heritage Site, National Heritage Site, so they belong to South Africa. And then I am going to give you the notes for all this. Yeah? And then after that, we're also going to write a classwork. Do you guys have any questions regarding all this? Fine. So can you write the classwork?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right, let's write the classwork.
Check out your books, check out your books.